What's up, guys? It is Luke from Second and Short back with a new video. We're going to be talking about Premier League Players of the Month. Follow us on all the socials. Let's hop into striker. All right, so the first player that we're going to get into at the striker position is Erling Haaland. This one, very, very easy to pick him for my one of my strikers in my team of the month. But this guy, 7 goals in 3 games for Manchester City. I mean, he's got to be on pace to break the record astronomically right now. So, I mean, 7 goals in 3 games is just ridiculous. And, you know, we're going to get into this guy later, but second place only has 3. And 3 goals in 3 games is pretty good. So, Erling Haaland having 7 goals in 3 games, there's no reason why he shouldn't be the striker of the month in the Premier League. Next, as I'm doing a 4-4-2 formation, we're going to have 2 strikers in the formation, and there's nobody else other than Bryan Mbeumo. This guy, he's the guy with 3 goals in 3 games that I mentioned is in second place to Haaland, who I think is now tied with Salah, but we'll get to him later in this video. But yeah, Bryan Mbeumo has been great for Brentford. But yeah, he's just been a solid striker. 3 goals in 3 games, as I said. He's second in the Golden Boot race, and he's coming off of a 9.7 match rating off of their last game against Southampton. So Brentford looked decent this year, definitely better than I expected, and Bryan Mbeumo is definitely one of the bigger reasons that Brentford have been so good this year. Okay, so now we're moving away from striker. We're going to go out to right mid, and there is nobody else that belongs here other than Mohamed Salah. First of all, Liverpool have just been flying, but Mohamed Salah, a player that I predicted on this podcast was going to show age this year. I really did not think Liverpool was going to be as good as they're playing. But Mohamed Salah, it looks like probably one of the best players in the world, and I don't think that's a exaggeration at all. This guy, 3 goals and 3 assists to start the campaign, a wonderful performance against Manchester United last weekend. He's averaging right now 3.5 shots per game and 2.5 shots on target. So he's, you know, super clinical, very accurate this year through 3 games. Yeah, he's at least provided a goal or an assist for Liverpool through these first 3 games. And just kind of something to monitor this year. It doesn't really have anything to do with Salah's like player performances in Liverpool. However, it is said that this may be his last year at the club. He just said that, actually, I think following the game against Manchester United where he played so well, he said that it's looking like it's going to be his last year because nobody from Liverpool has talked to him. So definitely something to kind of monitor throughout the season, and we'll do that on the podcast. But Mohamed Salah is definitely our right mid of the month of August. He's been absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so now we're going to move to left mid, and probably not a surprise, but I'm taking Luis Diaz here. So we're going back-to-back Liverpool wingers here, and just continuing his amazing performances with Colombia and the Copa America. Luis Diaz has been another big reason why Liverpool have just been dominating this year. 2 goals versus Manchester United and 1 goal versus Brentford, and all of his passing stats, all but one of them actually, are all in the 90%. So his own half, opposition half, accurate per game, long balls and crosses are all in the 90% accuracy there. Yeah, he looks absolutely amazing. I mean, his dribbling is just so deadly. He's so fast, and him and Salah complementing each other on the wings is just it's been a nightmare for the 3 teams that they've just completely run through. I don't know how you defend it, but Luis Diaz is my left mid. So now that we've gone with both of our wingers, we're going to go across the middle. So I have 2 center mids here, the first one being Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, of course he was going to end up on one of these videos, and I'm sure it's not the last time I'll talk about this guy. I don't really have many stats for Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, everybody knows about his passing. It's still there. His control of the games has been very apparent for Manchester City. You know, Manchester City have been great without Rodri, and it's a lot to do with, you know, guys like Kevin De Bruyne, and we'll get to Kovacic later. Kevin De Bruyne has just been, you know, carrying that midfield for Man City. I've even seen very good defense this year, which is not something that I've personally noticed out of Kevin De Bruyne, but, you know, he's just been an absolute workhorse for City in the midfield this year. An amazing 1 goal and 1 assist game versus Ipswich earlier, and his average match rating is one of the highest out of Premier League center mids. I'm pretty sure it is the highest on the source that I use, but Kevin De Bruyne has been nothing short of incredible for Manchester City. Now, we got to get his partner in center mid, and I've chosen... Uh-oh, it's getting chilly. Oh, God. Y'all feel that breeze? It's cold Palmer, baby. Obviously a Chelsea fan talking here, so just let me stand on my soapbox for a second. 1 goal and a Premier League leading 4 assists in first 3 games. It obviously doesn't help from that 6-2 thrashing that Chelsea put on Wolves. You know, he had a crazy game that game as well with that insane chip goal. That's his 1 goal on the season. He has just been dangerous every time he has space, and it just looks to be like a continuation of what he did last season. He still is my candidate for Premier League Player of the Year. Obviously a biased opinion there, but it's one that, you know, you could definitely back up for sure. I think Cole Palmer can only get better. Month of August, I think him and Kevin De Bruyne have been the 2 best center mids. Now we're moving on to the defense. I'm going to go with the fullbacks here, left back and right back. I'm kind of going to push these guys together because I don't have very many stats for both of them. Pedro Porro and Diego Dalot. Simply off of their match ratings are very high among outside defenders this year. They've both been just absolutely consistent for their teams. Obviously, Pedro Porro playing for Tottenham and Diego Dalot playing for Manchester United. These guys have been awesome. Pedro Porro has a goal on the season. They have the highest highest average match rating for Premier League fullbacks. Pedro Porro and Diego Dalot, I think, are going to have great seasons this year. Probably not the last time we talk about these guys. This choice definitely wasn't hard at all for center back, but we're going to talk about our first one here, and that's Christian Romero from Tottenham. He has really submitted himself as one of the better center backs in the league, and a guy that Tottenham can count on going forward. When he first signed and first started making his way into the starting 11, I really didn't think that Christian Romero was going to be as good as he's turned out to be, but he's definitely one of the better center backs in the Premier League. I would probably say top 5. You could argue top 3. This guy through August has just been solid for Tottenham. He's turned in, you know, the 3 great performances. All 3 of his games through August were very, very nice. And he has the highest average match rating for all defenders, center defenders in the Premier League. It might even just be all defenders. I can't really remember at the statistic I looked at. Christian Romero has been really, really, really solid for Tottenham this year, so he's my first center back. My center back partnership with Christian Romero is going to be Manchester City's Josko Gvardiol. This guy, super, super unique center back through the first 3 games in August, but it's something that I think we're going to see from him moving forward. He's very unique in the sense where he gets a lot of touches, which makes sense in, you know, a Pep Guardiola managed team with, you know, the tiki-taka, the passing around. Gvardiol, you know, he was doing it at Leipzig. He proved that he was a very decent passer of the ball. I think he's only gotten exceptional at it at Manchester City. He is a great distributor from center back, which is something that you need in the 3-back formation that they run. On top of just his unique passing ability, he has the 2nd highest match rating out of all Premier League defenders under Christian Romero. Josko Gvardiol has been really, really, really good for Manchester City, and I think it'll continue throughout the rest of the season. So Gvardiol is my 2nd center back. All right, we've made it to goalie, and I told you guys we were coming back for a Brentford player, and that's Mark Flecken. So what's crazy about him is he's first in saves with 17. Second and like 3rd, 4th, and 5th are all below him with 12. So there's something he must be doing a little bit differently. Maybe it's, you know, his defenders kind of letting a lot of shots by that they shouldn't, but there's no denying that Mark Flecken has been the best shot stopper through the first 3 games in the month of August. He has the highest match rating out of Premier League goalies so far, and he's only conceded 2 goals in 3 games for Brentford. So that's pretty solid, considering he has 17 saves and his team's only conceded 2 goals in 3 games. That's pretty ideal, I would say. So Mark Flecken was heads and shoulders above the rest as far as goalies to start the season and throughout the month of August. So Mark Flecken is the goalie. Now that we've made it through the starting 11, there's some guys that I had on my radar. My first honorable mention is Noni Madueke, right wing at Chelsea. What a ridiculous game he had against Wolves, and it's not getting talked about enough in my opinion. A 14-minute hat trick against Wolves for Noni Madueke. Also earned himself his first senior call-up in the England squad. So things are just going right for this kid. I mean, his dribbling, the way he takes on players is something that we've needed at Chelsea for a long time. And I love his pace. He's amazing on counterattacks. He was kind of started the amazing counterattack against Crystal Palace last week, where he took it around, I believe, Phil Hughes with just blistering pace. I mean, just totally dusted this guy. But yeah, Noni Madueke has been really, really, really solid for Chelsea in the month of August, but he didn't beat out Mohamed Salah. My next honorable mention is Nathan Collins, center back out of Brentford. He actually has the same average match rating as Joško Gvardiol, which I thought was really interesting, and I kind of debated over these two a while when I was making my list, but Gvardiol took it because Manchester City overall have conceded less goals, but Nathan Collins has been equally exceptional. My third honorable mention is Mateo Kovacic, ex-Chelsea player, who, when we all thought, or at least I thought, when he was going to Manchester City, that he was kind of going to fall into a rotational role. But we've seen, last season and with this season, Rodri's injury, Mateo Kovacic is a Premier League starter and, dare I say, better for Manchester City than he was at Chelsea. This guy has submitted himself, I think, in this Manchester City lineup, so much so that when Rodri comes back from injury, I think City should take out Rico Lewis, and that way leaving Kovacic in their starting 11. But yeah, Kovacic is an honorable mention in my Premier League starting 11. My next honorable mention is an entire defense, and I'm going to go with Liverpool's. This should be no secret to anybody. They've clean-sheeted their first 3 games, coming off of a clean sheet, a 3-0 win against Manchester United. Liverpool's entire defense and entire game plan this season under new management has been just, it's blowing me away. I said earlier when we talked about Mohamed Salah that I thought Salah was going to show age this year. But what I've also said in the podcast is, Liverpool had a very quiet transfer window. They're kind of letting their old players get old, like Van Dijk and Salah, not really replacing them. And, Van Dijk came off of a kind of a shaky Euro, I would say. I think that's fair. This Liverpool defense, and just Liverpool in general, are by far the best team in the Premier League in the month of August. Clean sheeting and scoring multiple goals on 3 opponents, one of them being Manchester United, is just incredible. So Liverpool completely deserve it right now, and they're making me eat my words. So Liverpool's entire defense is my last honorable mention. All right, second and short people. Well, that concludes my first video I've ever spearheaded. Premier League starting 11 for the month of August. All of the best Premier League players by position in the month of August. It's been Luke. Please follow all of our socials. They'll be in the description for sure. Links down there for you guys. And yeah, make sure you stay in tune with what we're doing. Like I said, this video, the Premier League players of the month, will come out on the first Wednesday of every month, hopefully. Make sure you're following us to stay tuned of when the next one's going to come out.